Welcome back to the Agent Goldmine, here for your final for real. Not like the last time we said this is the last step of the buyer's process, step by step, but we might have said that once, twice, however many times. This is really it, guys. This is really the last time that Ali and I are going to go through the buyer process, the final piece of the puzzle. This is all Ali. She is the freaking queen bee of this entire process. And she is here to teach us today how to not just close the deal and all the pieces within that puzzle, but also follow up afterwards to make sure that one-time closing that you got is a repeat client. They're there with you until you die together, in 75, 100 plus years, outlive, whatever. Repeat client forever. And after she does that, we are going to talk about red flags, guys. These are the things. This is miscellaneous. It's not necessarily related to the buyer process, but they are buyer red flags. They could waste your time. They could literally blow thousands of dollars out of your budget. These are the things that you want to make sure to look out for to save your freaking soul. And with that, Ali Garced, cool. Let's talk about follow-up, right? Is that what we're doing, Ali?
Absolutely. So you've already closed with this buyer. How do you make them become a client for life? By the way, that's what I tell them throughout the entire transaction. Like at any step of the process, whenever they're having some sort of high, I'm like, yes, I'm so excited. By the way, I'm a real estate agent for life. I am shameless, dude. I am so shameless. So after I've closed, we've been to the closing table, we've given them the gift, we have passed over the keys. That's again where we get the testimonial. That's what we went over in buyer part 5, I believe. The episode right before this. Yeah. So we have closed. The first portion of this follow-up checklist is I started off with 1 month after closing. In reality, I do 1 week. I do 1 week for the first month. And then after those 4 check-ins for the first month, then I do every once a month after that for the full year. Because they're going to have questions. They're going to be like, hey, where's the mailbox again? Where is whatever? And even if they have something negative, I used to be scared of being like, I don't want to follow up because what if the water heater went out, after we decided, whatever it is, who cares if it does go out? You are a resource to them. They made their own decision to purchase XYZ. And so continue being a resource to them. You know people that can fix it. You can give them several quotes. Like you're there to be a sounding board. So I used to struggle with that. And now I'm like, wait, no. If they wanted to do XYZ, they would have done it. So anyway, 1 month, I'm starting it off with 1 month after closing, but just know that I have already reached out to them every single week. I reach out to my clients on Tuesdays. That is my ask for business and like client stuff. So on Tuesdays in my world, otherwise 1 month after closing, ask how things are going with the home. How much do they love it? Ask for a referral one more time. Shelby.
In the front. Yes. How are you reaching out to them? Like what channel, what form of communication?
I 99% of the time do text message. This is just regular text. However we purchase the property. Sometimes if we purchased it on WhatsApp because these military clients were out of the country, maybe I'll continue it on WhatsApp, but usually at that point, once they're back in the States, they're not going to use WhatsApp as much, but it's a text. I don't really call them. Definitely
Classic
not email.
Ali.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I never email because I don't want people emailing me. I'm not going to see. I'm not going to see it. So I text. Any other questions?
No, that's all. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome, Shelby. And so I asked for the referral. Do you know of anyone else that is on the market to buy or sell, looking to purchase either this year or next year, and not even necessarily moving to Tucson or moving to St. Paul? It could be moving to any state. Do you know of anyone that recently had? And then the rest of this checkpoint is like specifically on what to say to them to be able to trigger their memory. So do you know of anybody that has had a recent life change, like they just had a baby or they plan on starting a family? Maybe they just made rank, had a promotion, or they're PCSing. So that is what I ask them. And then I also add it with, would it be okay if I continue to ask you this, by the way? Like, I'm not trying to harass you. This is how I make money. And they're usually like, yeah, totally cool, because you've already established that relationship with them. So the next bullet point is 5 months after the close of escrow, mail out a 6-month gift or like just a little card saying, hey, you've been in the house for 6 months now. I'm super pumped for you. How's everything going? The next thing is 11 months after, not 12. You want to get there early and not miss the home anniversary, but mail them like a little bottle of wine if they drank, or some sort of like logo, a little card saying, congratulations, you've been in the house for 1 year. Again, how are things going? And in case, they don't drink, it could be something, it doesn't have to be anything big. It's just something, a reminder like, oh, wow, we have been in the house for a year and our real estate agent is still thinking about us. Then,
So precious.
then every 3 months ish, log into HomeBot in case you have HomeBot. In case if you don't have it, ask your lender, ask your preferred lender or lenders, and because chances are they already pay for it and they may have a few spots for you. So partner up with them and have them pay for it. And like in our case, I actually don't use personally HomeBot. I used to, but it's just the algorithm is just so not correct in Tucson. I don't know how it is for others, but my lender has it. So whenever he sees people that he has helped close look on HomeBot, he will reach out to the agent that helped them close and say, yo, what's up? Willie is starting to look at the price like a lot more. Maybe you want to reach out to him to see if he's looking to sell already. So that's like a partnership that you can develop with your lender. Any questions so far?
Not so much a question, just more of a comment. I know from personal experience that it feels like a lot. Like when you're doing it in the moment, when you're like, oh man, I literally just checked in with these people last week or last month or whatever. Like it really does feel like a lot. But the reality is, if you do not continue to maintain a relationship and check in with these people, they will not sell with you when it's time to sell. And really, we all want fucking listings, right? And so how devastating it is. I used to think about this all the time. And I think about it now too, where I'm like, oh my God, the opportunity of going to a listing appointment, like that same seller was a buyer not too long ago, and they bought with an agent that they are not calling right now because I'm talking to them about selling. And that is a huge freaking missed opportunity for that person. So just do not be that person. Suck it up, build out the system to check in, and then actually do the things, and your future self will thank you.
100%. They're like, especially if they're selling a year or two after buying, you're like, you just worked with that real estate agent,
Dude, that's embarrassing, to be honest. It's that would hurt my fucking heart so bad to have someone not, oh my God, die. Oh.
No one. I've been on listing appointments and I've straight up asked them like, oh, you've only had this house for a year and a half. How was your agent when you purchased this? And they were like, oh, they were great. Whoa, okay. Yeah, you're not interviewing them. So again, you have to train people because they're not going to think about it. They're not. And if you're not in front of them, they're going to forget about you. They're going to know that they had a great relationship with you. But when it comes to sell, anyway, who's next? Who should I interview?
Totally. And who's the last person who I saw? Because that's the thing. It's best known beats best. It's when they think real estate, who pops to mind? Who did they last see pop up on their fucking Instagram page, or that last piece of mail, whatever. The other thing with what that you said was really good, Ali, is that instead of for the referrals, instead of just being like, hey, do you know anyone looking to buy, sell, or invest? But you like lead them with the trigger about the recent life change, because dude, that is just, it's so weird because we're in this world where we think about real estate all the time. Other people aren't. And so they don't know that these life triggers will actually lead to exactly what you're asking unless you like prompt them. So that's really fucking good.
I mean, every single time you're like, hey, do you know of anyone looking to buy? They're always like, no. But then how many people do they know that are trying to start a family, that already did start a family, recently had
just got PCS orders.
Yes. Or are about to, and they know where they're going. Like it's you have to spoon feed them, and you have to be okay with spoon feeding because that's what you do. Do you want the business? That's it. Do you want the business? Next in the checklist, if you're looking to change brokerages this year so you can increase your business and you want to join us at eXp Realty and would like either myself, Ali Garced, or Shelby Johnson to personally sponsor you in, so that way you have access to 2 icon agents, text the word join to either my number, 914-318-4918, or Shelby's number, 703 399-4332. If I sponsor you and you have access to the both of us and everything that's 5 Pillars Nation, we have the checklist, the systems, the processes to help you scale your business. And don't take our word for it. We've had agents switch brokerages to join us that were stuck making $300,000 GCI, and they join us so they can scale. So text the word join to those numbers and we'll take the next steps. Next in the checklist is send holiday cards. I have over Christmas. Don't kill me, of course. Holiday, any holiday. But really, if you don't want to send cards, just again, text them, call them, post on their Facebook, DM them on Instagram. Just get in front of them. I, again, shamelessly, in the card that I have at closing and about a year after, I remind them how I'm jumping back up one in the card where I say, congratulations, you've been in the house for a year. At that point, I also tend to do another comp. So not only I pull up the notes of what we just had. So I helped Shelby close on a property. It appraised at $6,000 above what we asked for. And we got $22,000 in seller concessions. So I'm putting this in the freaking card. So I'm saying, like, not only did we get 22K from out where you did not have to pay for it, you got 4K or whatever I just said in instant equity. And at this point, 1 year later, your property is roughly worth around XYZ. So I'm just so pumped for you that you have an extra boop, add all those numbers. You have an extra 30K just by buying this property. I'm stoked. Happy holidays or happy home anniversary. That's it. Remind them that you did a good fucking job and be shameless about it. Because sometimes they forget. They're just like, oh yeah, we got a property and like the mortgage is this and maybe it's kind of tight, maybe it's not, but they don't remember how much you did for them.
Yeah, these are just so above and beyond. Like, these are really fucking good, Ali.
Thank you. So, okay, back to the holiday card. I also do like an annual stats. So like the number of closings that you did as an agent, the number of family members that you helped buy, the number of family members that you helped sell, and how much total you helped your clients save, whether it's seller concessions, the amount of fixes that the sellers did while you were representing the buyers, add up all these numbers. And of course, on our side, we're trying to find other like-minded agents that are crushing it with big ass goals. So I also post on social media of how many agents that joined our community, how many 5-star Zillow or Google ratings that we have. Just like brag about yourself. Overall, the follow-up is bragging about yourself in a way that you'll find your way of how to brag on yourself without feeling awkward over time. So you just have to start bragging on yourself to realize, ooh, actually that may have been a little bit too cringe for me. Let me try this instead next. And you're going to find your groove. I promise. You just have to do it enough. So then send birthday cards also to both spouses. So in case you don't have the birthdays yet, ask them. Have your virtual assistant put it into your CRM. So that way every single birthday is on your calendar and your CRM. What I do for birthdays specifically is I have it on my Google Calendar. So on my Google Calendar, on the first of every month, I have something shaded in the birthday color, which I have like lavender or something, is the birthday color. And I say birthdays this month. That's the title of it. And then in the description, I have all of the birthdays that are coming up within that month. So for those that are going to get a card, I will send out a card. For those that are just going to be text, I'll make sure, okay, Shelby's birthday is coming up or XYZ's birthday is coming up. Then, so that's the first of the month, every single month. So that way I know who to prepare for. And then on their actual birthday, I have it again, August 11th with the lavender color, Shelby's birthday, even though Shelby's birthday is not August 11th. Send her a gift anyway. So then the next bullet point is, where am I? Okay, so birthday cards to both spouses, have that in your calendar. Shelby has a question.
I have a question. How are you doing your cards? Because in the beginning, it's not that hard because you have 4 people to give cards to. But then as your business grows, the idea of like handwriting cards is overwhelming. I know because I feel it. And I've actually been recently searching. I've done some searches and gotten some free samples, but they're kind of fucking expensive. The ones that are like, we it looks completely handwritten. I think it's actually called Handwritten is the company that I got it from. And you can write, your personalized, make it really personalized, like you said, where it's not only did we get you $22,000 in concessions and all, like you write it, but they're the ones who put it in the card and then mail it and ship it out. So are you doing anything like that? Or are you still hand jamming? What are you doing?
I do not write cards. I have my virtual assistant write cards. She is in the States.
That's perfect.
Yeah. So I have one of my assistants do it, and she has really nice handwriting. So I tell her, can you make it ugly handwriting? So I'm like, dude, I have ugly ass handwriting, which is another reason why I don't do the cards, like really for me. But I tell her exactly what to write, and I tell her who gets a card, who doesn't get a card. Not everyone gets a card. And so yeah. So even though she is like stamping it and sending it out of the state that she lives in, which is not the state that I live in, clients don't care. Clients don't give a shit. Like literally, she signs it from me. The thought was from me. I told her exactly what to write. She's just the one physically doing it. So that's what I do.
Yeah, my friend Katie, you might know Katie.
Yeah.
She was like the first hire I ever hired. Like she worked in my house. The second day I hired her, this was back when I was a single agent, not before 5 Pillars. And I like came out in my towel and was like telling her all of these things. She's like, this girl's fucking batshit crazy. Anyway, she she lives down the street. She literally moved to Kentucky with me. So best friends, obviously. She lives down the street.
Did she really?
Yeah, dude. She lives half a mile
God.
away. Like, I'm not even kidding. I was like, Katie, we're moving to Kentucky. Do you want to come? And she's like, no, Kentucky. Why? We had all these plans for Washington State. It was going to be beautiful. And then she's like, yeah, fuck it. She literally moves down the street.
What a
It's
ride
great.
or die. That's amazing. That's the
Dude.
power of you. Like the relationships that you build are so powerful. I love that.
Oh my God. Anyway, all this to say, none of that was really relevant except that her daughter just turned 13 and she really likes panda dongs. Is that what it's called? Those fucking shoes, the fucking cool shoes. Neither of us are cool. So we don't know. But she has like really bougie taste for a 13-year-old. And she's constantly trying. She's like, can I paint your house? Can I pull weeds at your house? I'm like, girl. So you know what? She's going to write my cards for me. I've just decided.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank
definitely.
you, Ali, for the inspiration.
Of course. Of course. Plus she's like really good at that already. She made the Taylor Swift friendship bracelets.
Yeah. The girl, she hustling for that money.
So moral of the story, find a 13-year-old.
Yes, exactly.
It doesn't have to be you. Yeah, actually, it should not be you, is my opinion.
Dude, well, that's the thing. Like I have other little pieces of my primary VA right now, though, is in the Philippines. And so I'm like trying to, but you know what? That's perfect because Alana lives down the street. It's from Kentucky. I'm so excited. Thank you.
Good. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Great. So then the next step is if for some reason you still do not have a review on whatever primary websites you want to get it on, again, I suggest Google, number one, Zillow, number two. Ask them for a review. It's been a month or maybe 6 months at this point. Ask them. Again, reiterate what you've done because you need to spark their memory. Otherwise, their hype has gone down. They lived in the house for 6 months now. They're like, okay, yeah, the house is pretty good. We found some flaws. As they always do, there's no perfect house. And they forgot how good of a time that you helped them with, like how good of an experience. So remind them, be shameless. And also, if you haven't gotten a video review, maybe ask for a video review. If you haven't been to their house yet, do a pop by. And so then when they when they review, respond to the review. Google looks at that and it showcases your personality. So when strangers find you on Google, they're not just seeing the reviews, but they're seeing how you respond. And that's like a perfect way to showcase your personality. So respond in a you manner. And next up, when they review, in case, again, this is redundancy because that's what I'm all about. In case you haven't already done this, blast that review on everywhere, on your Instagram, your TikTok, your website. Did I say TikTok? Your TikTok, your YouTube, literally everything. And then you can, just because you've blasted it out once doesn't mean that that's the only time you can blast it out. You can continue to reuse these reviews. So do so. And every year, like I mentioned before, I do send a CMA. This is accompanied with a quick bomb, like maybe a minute or two. I look up the recent comps that have most recently sold. I look up, those within a point 2, point 1 mile radius, again, dependent on your sphere, on your location, on what is active on the market. And I let them know if the roughly how much their property is worth now. Again, because I'm putting it in their mind that I will also help them sell. I don't just help buy. And a lot of clients don't realize that. A lot of clients think that there are buyers agents and that there are separate agents that help them sell. Now, if you are in a brokerage that only allows you to do buyers, then get out and go to one where you can build your own business and do whatever the heck you want. So anyway, I send it a CMA. I shared the screen with them so that way they know exactly, like they at that point they know the streets. They know that Petersonville is like the street parallel. They know XYZ. So I'm walking them through a map and I make the bomb and I say congratulations again. Sometimes it's not a congratulations. Sometimes especially in Arizona about 2 years ago, the prices stayed stagnant or they even started going down in some areas. Do it anyway. I had a really, really big mental hurdle about, oh my God, I helped them buy a house. And now the house is worth five, seven, $10,000 less the next year. I don't want to be the one that says that. They need to know. They need to know markets cycle, and it's your job to tell them. So that was something that I struggled with that I wanted to let you guys know about.
Yeah, all these struggles are so. Oh, sorry. No, go on. I was just gonna add my own fucking stories for no reason. So let's
do
get
it. Do it.
winded up.
We love your stories.
Yeah, no, I just really resonate with that feeling of I know how after you're closed, especially if it was like a more, tricky transaction in any sort of way or one that was like an emotional roller coaster more than normal, that checking in with them afterwards because it opens the door for you becoming like the bearer of bad news or their person who receives their frustrations. And that can be really hard. But you're totally right, because especially if we're playing the long game, which that's the thing too, you have to ask yourself if you're listening to this, am I in this to just be transactional and be done with the transaction and then like never look that person in the face again? Or am I committed to this business, not just today or this upcoming 12 months, but like potentially for the first 5-10 years? What's the saying? There's some saying about it takes 20 years to build a reputation and one day to crush it or something like that. There's some fucking saying. But yeah, so you really just have to ask yourself, are you in this business for the long run? If the answer is yes, then becoming comfortable with being the bearer of bad news as well as good will make you all the more trustworthy to those people and all the more likely that they'll use you in the future and tell their friends about you.
If you are looking to change brokerages this year so you can increase your business and you want to join us at eXp Realty and would like either myself, Ali Garced, or Shelby Johnson to personally sponsor you in, so that way you have access to 2 icon agents, text the word JOIN to either my number, 914-318-4918, or Shelby's number, 703-399-4332. If I sponsor you and you have access to the both of us and everything that's 5 Pillars Nation, we have the checklist, the systems, the processes to help you scale your business. And don't take our word for it. We've had agents switch brokerages to join us that were stuck making $300,000 GCI, and they join us so they can scale. So text the word JOIN to those numbers and we'll take the next steps. Because that's perfect, because so many agents will get stuck on finding new business when you've already helped so many clients. So help them again. That doesn't cost anything or costs way less than acquiring a brand new stranger client. So look in your database and start there. Like the follow-up is so importante. Next up, if you want to, so I do a bomb and I text them and I email. So that is something that I do email to them and I text them saying, hey, I sent you something in an email. Text me if you have any questions. You can also send this hard copy, mail it to them. You can have it, look like a fancier presentation with a QR code. The QR code can go to your bomb or Loom that you did for them, and just let them know exactly what's up with their property. So, hey, client, I super hope that all you have been doing well. The home is treating you well. Quick update on my end is I've expanded my community, my team of real estate agents, and we're providing the service to you for free because you are one of our past clients. We value educating our clients and keeping you up to date on everything. revolving your home. So the next QR code below, so pretty much, you know what? I might as well just finish reading this. The next QR code below this one is the home valuation report from my teammate. This is what I do. I have my teammates do this. This is their name. This agent will take you through the latest on your property, how much your home is worth, etc. In case you don't already know, because Zillow estimates are inaccurate, at least in Tucson, at least in Arizona. It could be accurate in your opinion. Either way, it should be for coming from you and not from Zillow. So we wanted to take the time to educate you properly. This is a service that we are proud to provide for all of our past clients. If you have any questions, reach out to me, reach out to us, reach out to my teammate, Lauren, whatever. Our numbers are at the bottom of this screen or the chat or the letter, whichever mode you are setting this in. If you want to start a group chat, we're absolutely here for that too. Receiving Realtors videos will be screen sharing this packet of documents received. So just follow along. So you can make this like any way that you want. You can, again, have a formal copy where you can even do for pretty cheap, for maybe $5, you can go to FedEx and turn this into like a spiral bound little book of all the comps, what they purchased at. And again, that's a perfect time for you to reiterate how much you saved them, or, everything of what you did for them during their transaction a year ago. You can mail that out and then text them. But we do this every single year, where when the year is coming up, about a month-ish before that is when I tell my teammate to give the bomb, do the analyzation, how much is their property worth right now. And it's also a good way to ask them, have you done any updates to the house? Because this may be more. And that is that big ass bullet. Any questions on that before I continue? Okay.
Nope.
Cool. And then the next bullet point is to share with them the shred link to pay their mortgage off in months or years versus decades. I think we've spoken about the shred method before in earlier episodes. In case you are a newer listener, the shred method is a bomb ass way to pay your mortgage in record time. And it's all just math. I think it's magic too, but it's really just math. It's trading a compounding interest for a simple interest. Both of us have affiliates, so reach out to us in case you want the first month. I think the first month is free, or it's at least a reduced cost for onboarding into the shred method. I tell all of my buyer clients about the shred method, so that way they can start thinking about paying off their mortgage fast. It helps them. It helps us, it's a great way. I've personally done it myself. I had one of my properties I started off with a balance of $121,000 and I paid that bad boy off in 4 fucking months. It's incredible. I love it. So I tell everyone about this. Next bullet point is I add to their close of escrow. Add the close of escrow date to your CRM. So that way, again, in case you haven't done this yet, you should know exactly when somebody's home anniversary is. And then as soon as it comes up in your CRM, make sure that you have it as a recurring event every year. So that way you're not just saying congrats year 1. You have to say congrats year 2. They're likely not going to sell year 1, but year 2, 3, 4, 5, the average American sells every 7 years. So you need to make sure that you're doing this at least for 7 years. That is for the follow-up. Should I head to the red flags, or do you have any questions?
No. I mean, maybe I'll have more questions later, but none right now.
So carrying into the miscellaneous red flags, these are my lessons learned of, maybe I should have sprinkled this maybe in the beginning, but because you're listening to this to the end, this is what to run away from. My own personal experience. There are a lot more red flags. This is my personal experience. Number 1 red flag of somebody that maybe you should not work with is an investor trying to get an owner-occupied loan without living in the area, aka mortgage fraud. You don't want to be involved with that. You don't want your lender partner to be involved with that. Just fucking run away. If they can't do something, it's just such, I have been the receiving end of this. Obviously, it's my number 1 red flag. I don't want anything to do with that. If your only career right now, if the only way you making money right now is being a real estate agent, just do your job ethically. That's it, because you do not want to get down this rabbit hole. Number 2 is if the client cannot respond to simple yes or no questions from the beginning, and of course, take this with a grain of salt because they may not know exactly what they're looking for yet. But overall, as you're working with them, and if you're asking them, what exactly are you looking for? And they cannot answer it. Or if you're saying, are you interested in this house? And they cannot give you a yes or no answer. It is not your job to teach them how to think or teach them English. Move on. Like, move on. Some people are very, very indecisive. And so you do have to balance that with, what more information do you need to be able to get to a yes or no? But if you have given them all the information and they still cannot decide yes or no, there are other clients that know that they want to buy. So get in front of them. Do not waste your time with people that are just going to waste your time. That was a terrible sentence, but you know what the hell I mean. The next bullet point is the buyer doesn't give you a pre-approval letter or doesn't want to meet with a lender. Of course, now this is going to be pretty much a moot point with the NAR stuff, especially with EXP and a lot of brokerages where you cannot even show a client a house anymore until they are pre-approved. You've spoken to them about agency and they're willing and able to work with you and only you. So this we can kind of eliminate. But previously, I know a lot of buyer agents that would just show homes without the client even thinking about lending yet, let alone getting like a simple pre-qual or pre-approval. So if they're not willing to put in the work to talk to a lender and get a pre-approval, and I'm not talking about those pre-approvals that are like, oh yeah, I went into my bank and I just I freaking inflated how much I make. So now I have a pre-approval for, $1 million. Not that shit. Like actually serious. Then if they're not going to take the time out of their time, I'm not going to show you a house. Next. There again, it's so easy to say it, but in action, maybe when your pipeline is dry and you're like, oh my God, but I don't really have any other buyer clients, it is not worth continuing to work with them. There are other clients that are willing and able to purchase.
And just to add on to that, because I've also been there when like you don't have anyone. So you're like grasping at the hope, well, maybe it could work out, and you run your fucking ass all over trying to, teach an investor how to invest and they don't even care, whatever, it doesn't matter. But the thing you should ask yourself is if I took that same amount of time and invested it into marketing, into lead generation or nurturing those people who I have, like Ali, literally everything just talked about, is it possible that that effort could give me a higher return than chasing this pipe dream? And the answer is yes. If you ask yourself, the answer is yes. Use your time elsewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so similar to that like sunk cost fallacy. I've already invested 10 hours with this client. I might as well show them another house because maybe this is the house that they want to place an offer on. No, they're tire kickers. Are wasting your time. Just because you've spent 10, 20, 30 hours with a client does not mean you should continue working with them. In fact, the opposite. The last bullet point of the red flags is if in the very, very beginning, the buyer reaches out to you and wants to take the conversation off to WhatsApp. Even if they say they're a cash buyer, they always are cash buyers. And they want to take the conversation to WhatsApp and they're not military and, across the country, across the world, that's a red flag. Don't. So I say this because, and we're kind of laughing about it now, but so many brand new agents are like, oh my gosh, they're getting these text messages, which are scams. And they're like, oh, this random person found me on Google. Cool. No, they got your name off of a list and they're not actually looking to buy. I don't know what the scam is. We're not going to get into that, but they're not actually a buyer. So if they're not willing to jump on a phone call with you, that's like the number one. If you're going to say, hey, cool, let's schedule a call, let's schedule a chat. And they say, no, I'd rather go on WhatsApp. Stop. That's a red flag. Move on. Delete.
Dude,
block.
this is hilarious because if anyone knows me, which a lot of you do, I think, listening, the first thing I fucking do to people is I'm like, yo, do you have WhatsApp? Can we? And they're like, can we hop on a call? I'm like, no. Let's just hop on WhatsApp. So listening to you say this, I sound like the ultimate scammer, crazy person. That's fine. That's fine.
You are.
Does it
you
not,
are.
Ali? Does that not sound like me? You literally just described me.
It's 100% you.
But I'm fine though. Everyone else not. Rules don't apply.
Exactly. Exactly. So that is it. So that's how to follow up to to make sure that all of your clients become a repeat client, whether you help them buy again, or shred their mortgage or sell, and who to run away from. Now, of course, this is not all encompassing, but these are the most top of mind to me.
I feel like you and I could probably talk for a whole show on the red flags with investors specifically, but we won't do that today. Guys, if you do want that, if you're working with investors or want to work with investors and you want an entire episode on Ali and I talking about red flags and lessons learned from working with investors, let us know. It's Ali the Agent or the Shelby Show on the gram. Cool.
Yeah, we've received great feedback on this so far. People have reached out to us for the checklist. So again, if you want it, this is in the Google Drive. So theagentgoldmine.com. And it's in that bitch. Or otherwise, you can reach out to us too. We're here for it. Ali the Agent, The Shelby Show. Be a bro and share this show.